homeowners association, detailing everything that had happened. I wanted to make sure they understood the situation, especially since it seemed clear that my neighbor was not just targeting my family, but inciting the entire block against us. I was fed up. I had tried to be the bigger person, but my patience was wearing thin. My name is Linda, and I had always believed in kindness and community. But that was before our neighbor, Greg, decided to make our lives miserable. The setup for this saga began innocently enough. My partner, Jake, and I had moved into this quaint neighborhood with dreams of raising our child, Emma, amidst nature. We loved the wildflowers, the butterflies, and the occasional deer that would wander into our yard. We cherished the idea of a home that embraced the beauty of nature, rather than conforming to the rigid standards of manicured lawns. However, Greg lived right next door, and he was the complete opposite. Every morning, without fail, he would fire up his massive lawn mower at dawn, cutting his grass to a perfect, military-style buzz. He seemed to take pride in it, flaunting his perfectly trimmed lawn as if it were a trophy. I had never seen anyone so obsessed with grass. The inciting incident that pushed me over the edge happened when Greg, with his booming voice, confronted my mother one day while I was tending to Emma. I could hear the yelling from inside the house. My mother, who was elderly and had her own challenges, was simply trying to manage the chaos of a newborn. When I finally emerged, he was still berating her, and my heart raced with anger. I felt helpless and furious. How could someone be so cruel? I wanted to scream at him, to defend my mother, but all I could think about was keeping Emma calm. The rising action began when I noticed strange things happening around our home. My garden was being trampled, and one day I found the gutter vandalized. It was as though someone was deliberately trying to intimidate us. Then, one fateful night, I heard the sound of something hitting our window. It jolted me awake, and I rushed to the window to see two kids laughing as they threw eggs at our house. My heart sank. I knew those kids were being encouraged by Greg, and I could just picture him standing there, laughing as they caused chaos. When Jake confronted them, they scurried away to the house across the street, another friend of Greg's. The climax of my story came when I decided I had enough. I drafted a note outlining the trespassing and vandalism, making it clear that while I didn't want to press charges against children, I expected their parents to be held accountable. I also wrote to the homeowners association, detailing the harassment we had faced. I knew I was stepping into dangerous territory, but I felt empowered. I was not going to let this man bully us any longer. The fallout was swift. The next day, I received a call from the homeowners association, and to my surprise, they took my complaints seriously. They issued a warning to Greg and the other neighbors about the behavior that was unacceptable in our community. I felt a rush of relief, knowing that I had taken a stand. The resolution came quietly. Greg seemed to back off, perhaps realizing that I was no longer the easy target he thought I was. I continued to nurture my garden, letting the wildflowers bloom and the birds sing. I learned that sometimes, standing up for yourself is the most empowering thing you can do. My family and I found a way to live peacefully, and while Greg remained a thorn in my side, I had reclaimed my space. I had turned the tide, not through violence or aggression, but through determination and the will to protect my family. In the end, it was not just about the lawn. It was about respect, boundaries, and the right to live freely. I realized that sometimes, the best revenge is simply living well and finding joy amidst the chaos.